A huge controversy was created in India last week when an Israeli director who had been invited to an Indian film festival as a jury member decided to take the stage and specifically called out the Kashmir Files as a vile and propaganda film. Now, first and foremost, it's important to remember that this is the opinion of an individual and not of the state of Israel or the Israeli people. It's also extremely surprising that such an opinion is coming from an Israeli who knows the pain of the Holocaust and who knows the pain of people denying the Holocaust. But that surprise honestly only lasts till you realize that this gentleman himself is extremely anti-Israel as well. And to be fair to Israel, the Israeli government and Israeli officials have come out in very strong terms to denounce the opinions of the Israeli director.
I think that one private person with his own opinion shouldn't change anything here. And that's what I was trying to tell.
And to show support to India and the Kashmiri Hindu community. It's also important to remember not to hold an entire country or an entire people responsible for the opinions of individuals. Because imagine if all of India were to be blamed for the opinions of Ravish Kumar, Swarab Bhaskar, Rana Ayub, Arfa Khanum Sherwani. I mean, India has too many of these people, man. We would literally have to spend the next 500 years just apologizing to people. What was also hurtful, but not really surprising at the end of the day, was the reaction of a section of Indians to an obviously biased and uneducated opinion, who, like a hungry dog who has been thrown a treat, couldn't wait to agree with this man's statement. They called the Kashmir Files exploitative garbage. They said that it was clear that what had been portrayed in the Kashmir Files, that is the ethnic cleansing of the Kashmiri Hindu community, was fake. They said that the Kashmir Files is both vulgar and propaganda. Apart from these guys, previously even so-called media outlets with integrity like Al Jazeera, who is totally not a state-sponsored shill organization, and The Wire, who could get their own episode on MTV's Catfish, have also called the film fake propaganda. Even so-called secular politicians have attacked the film and called it fake.
राष्ट्र निर्माण में आपको साथ लेंगे हम राष्ट्र निर्माण करेंगे आपके साथ मिलकर ये पोस्टर भी नहीं लगवाएंगे झूठी फिल्मों के.
If this film is indeed fake, I urge all the non-Muslim commentators and the Israeli director to visit Kashmir and roam freely in the so-called terror-infested areas as designated by the government. Because the Kashmir Files is vile propaganda and the government is clearly lying, so there is no such thing as terrorism in Kashmir. So non-Muslims really shouldn't have any problems moving around in Kashmir unprotected. Now there's a couple of issues here. Firstly, how could the government and the various bureaucrats that were involved in setting up this film festival not have vetted this person, not have done a background check on this Israeli director, known how anti-Israel he is, and known that it is quite likely that he would use the stage to make some kind of a biased political statement? Sometimes you look at the current government's incompetence and really wonder that is the opposition of this government so shit that this government has to shoot itself in the foot just to keep things interesting. Other than the incompetence of the bureaucrats and the ministers who did not vet this man properly, there is another issue. That this Israeli director and a lot of the Indians that call the Kashmir Files fake propaganda do not have the balls to say that about Schindler's List, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and many other films that are set in the Holocaust. Because Holocaust denial is rightly seen as a disgusting thing to do. Denying the targeted massacre of millions of people is wrong and immoral. It is considered so wrong in Europe that you can be jailed for denying the Holocaust. So, Europeans will not deny the Holocaust, and Indian liberals who will happily strangle their mother and their family dog just to be in the good books of European liberals will also never dare question the Holocaust. But the ethnic cleansing of Kashmiri Hindus is fair game. Honestly, the Pakistani army who wants to destroy India must be looking at these Indians trying to destroy India from within and wondering, will you let us do something? Are you trying to put us out of a job?
मैं क्या करूं फिर जॉब छोड़ दूं?
But I don't know if you noticed about this entire episode, but something was different. The outrage and the anger that you saw from the general population was almost overwhelming. Whether on social media, whether on TV media, whether in print media, the denial of the Kashmiri Hindu genocide was opposed not just by the Kashmiri Hindu population, but by a big bulk of the Indian population as well. This would not have happened before the Kashmir Files. In fact, think about it. Even 10 years ago, hardly anyone outside of the Kashmiri Hindu community was even aware of what had happened to the Kashmiri Hindu community in Kashmir in the 90s. The media, which covered the 2002 Gujarat riots as if it were the only riots to have ever happened in the country, ignored the Kashmiri Hindus for 30 years the way the Indian voter ignores Congress party. The government has had 3 decades to set up a Truth and Reconciliation Committee that would document what happened in Kashmir in the 90s, what happened to the Kashmiri Hindu population there, and collect all the necessary facts. But it never happened because the Kashmiri Hindu population is not big enough to be politically relevant. So people cared about them basically as much as audiences cared about Lal Singh Chaddha. Key separatists and terrorists who played a huge part in the Kashmiri Hindu genocide were invited to Delhi by the top leadership of the country, like Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani and Yasin Malik, and even received humanitarian awards like Youth Leader. Imagine that. It's like if in the movie Sholay, Basanti's village gave Gabbar the award for the greatest humanitarian. But remember that at that time, 10 years ago, it was only the Kashmiri Hindu population that was protesting against these people. Today, people from all over the country protest against them. This is what the Kashmir Files has achieved, and why, in my opinion, it is the most important film of 2022. It has perhaps permanently shifted the Overton window. The Overton window, for people that may not know, shows the range of topics that are considered acceptable in a society at a given point of time. Any issues outside of the Overton window are seen as false, extremist, outrageous, and unacceptable. Today, in large part due to the Kashmir Files, the acceptance of the Kashmiri Hindu genocide sits smack bang in the middle of the Overton window. See, the proof has always been there. It has been meticulously documented by Kashmiri Hindu groups like Panun Kashmir. Even the director of the Kashmir Files, Vivek Agnihotri, has said that he has conducted 750 interviews with affected families, which he revealed that he will be releasing as part of a docu-series. And there have obviously been many other factors along with the Kashmir Files behind the widespread awareness of the ethnic cleansing of the Kashmiri Hindus. Because of social media, Kashmiri Hindu groups themselves have been able to reach a much wider audience. The current government, through its abrogation of Article 370, has also done a lot in bringing awareness of the Kashmiri Hindu ethnic cleansing in front of the general Indian population, but I doubt that anything has created quite the shock to the country's conscience the way this film has. Anyone who has seen this film and then subsequently looked into the Kashmiri Hindu ethnic cleansing will simply not let someone slander the Kashmiri Hindu community and deny their massacre anymore. No amount of media obfuscation, politicians' lies, and slander by uneducated foreigners will be tolerated by Indians. Finally, Holocaust denial will not go unchallenged in India. And for that, we should all be thankful to the Kashmir Files. Now, when it comes to the opposition against the Kashmir Files, we've seen three main points. Number one, that the film is propaganda. A lot of people have said so, but fail to point out which part exactly is propaganda. They can't point out any specific inaccuracies in the film. They simply call it exploitative garbage and expect it to be the truth. It's like if a Swiss fan watched his team get smashed by Portugal 6-1 in the World Cup and said, well, the Portuguese team is clearly on steroids, like that makes it true. So ad hominem attacks with no substantive proof. The second attack is this isn't the highest quality film. The dialogues and the script aren't the best. To them I say, well, you had 30 years to make this movie, but you didn't. Vivek Agnihotri did. You had 30 years to highlight the plight of the Kashmiri Hindus, but you didn't. Vivek Agnihotri did. If you think you can make a better film about the ethnic cleansing of the Kashmiri Hindus, go ahead. Do it.
Just do it!
Show, not tell. Until then, shut the f*** up. The third big criticism is why didn't Vivek Agnihotri donate all of the money that he made from this film to the Kashmiri Hindu organizations? Why is there an obligation to do that? Did you ask the makers of Haider to donate all of the money they made to the Kashmiri Muslims? Did you ask the makers of Lal Singh Chaddha to donate all of the money they made to the armed forces? See, the problem is that they just can't get over the fact that they either ignored or ridiculed this film before its release, thinking that it will just fade away into obscurity. But the film did the exact opposite. It became a runaway global success, beating all expectations, and all without their approval. And that had to have hurt. To know that the Indian audience isn't controlled by their opinion anymore. And especially that a man that you ridiculed as an inferior filmmaker is more rich than any of those people writing articles about him will ever be, and has publicly declared that he will be investing his earnings into making more films and more projects like the Kashmir Files. Man, rough year. So all the best to Vivek Agnihotri and all of the future projects that he will be doing, and I hope that the truth of the ethnic cleansing of the Kashmiri Hindus continues to spread across India and across the globe even past 2022. And I want to ask you, do you agree that Kashmir Files is the most important film of 2022? If it isn't, what do you think is the most important film of 2022? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Other than that, if you'd like to check out the Sham Sharma Show merch, you can click on the merch store link in the comment section down below and check it out. If you want to join the Sham Sharma Show Mug Club, you can click on the Patreon link in the description down below and check it out. If you like this English Explainer series, please let me know what topic I should cover next. Other than that, I will see you for the next episode, and until then, stay happy, stay healthy. I will see you next time, and to all of you, a secular pranam.